with programs that contribute to conversations about representation, identity, and diversity in our nation.
The dance was the miracle.
Watch a special collection of programs, short stories, and audio documentaries on air or streaming at nepm.org.
You're watching New England Public Media on WGBY Springfield.
Are you not excited to be returning?
Rather thought we'd seen the last of you.
I'm trying to forge a new life, a new path.
Life's full of surprises.
How thrilling.
We're going to enjoy ourselves.
Coming up, we're connecting you with the creativity and culture in your community, including one young woman from the Navajo Nation who's making moves on the basketball court right here in Springfield.
Especially on the court, we just look at each other and look at a certain place, and they're like, okay, I know what you mean.
Join in the choir of rock voices.
This is one of the few things they get to do where they can see other people, because singing should be about being together and making music together.
And art, craft, and entrepreneurship come together at KSW Printing.
I have had like clothing lines and stuff like that, so I had a clothing store out of North Adams. So it kind of became a necessity for me to just make my own things.
Join us for those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point, your source for creativity, culture, and community. I'm Saidalis Bauer. Growing up in Navajo culture in Utah, Kiana Dishface remembers learning to play basketball on dirt. She developed a passion for the game and went on to play in high school off the reservation and is now more than 2,000 miles away from her home playing for Springfield Technical Community College. Producer Dave Frazier spoke with Kiana and two other players from the Navajo Nation and brings us the story.
When I first touched a basketball, it was something that I knew I wanted to do.
Kiana Dishface has a passion for basketball. It's a game she was introduced to growing up on a Navajo reservation in Montezuma Creek, Utah.
I grew up beside a river. My house is right next to the San Juan River. I used to live in a hogan that's made of sand, and so I slept on a dirt floor. I slept on sheepskin. The cold nights, the sheepskins kept me warm by the fire, and it's just home.
Kiana is one of 3 players from the Navajo Nation who were recruited to play basketball at Springfield Technical Community College.
When I first came, everyone thought I was Hispanic. They're like, can you speak Spanish? And they thought I was from Mexico. I was like, no, I'm from New Mexico. But yeah, I think I really like it here.
Back home, it's very dry. Like, it's really hot during the summer, but here it's like a lot of moisture and there's a lot of trees, and that's one thing I found interesting and new to me when I came here.
I feel like us 3 understand each other because we're all Navajos, and like it's really funny, especially on the court. We just look at each other and look at a certain place, and they're like, okay, I know what you mean.
Like just one
Like we can just connect with just one look.
Prior to coming to Stick, Kiana played her high school ball in Utah. She chose to play off the reservation in the nearby town of Blending. She says those years were difficult because of how people treated her.
I was different, and I knew it. From the moment I stepped in the classrooms, I was treated different. I felt like all eyes were on me, yet nobody sat by me. Nobody wanted to be friends with me. Nobody even took interest to seeing who I am as a person.
Despite those challenges, she says that time in her life made her stronger and changed the stereotypes that existed.
Now they see me for who I am. They see the unique side of me. They see how smart I am. They see just how kind I am. And now I'm friends with a lot of people in Blending, and I broke many barriers, and now I feel like Blending is unified. So yeah, I'm just proud of where I come from and proud of who I am, and I just didn't let it put me down.
Okay, let's bring it in, ladies.
Ed Guzik is the head coach of the women's team. It's a program he started from scratch in 2016.
One of the things that we built is not only recruiting basketball players, but strong women that have goals and aspirations where they want to go and achieve not only in the basketball court, but also academically as well. I'm very proud of the fact that the school embraces culture. And that's very, very important to them because in some situations they've experienced a prejudice in the past. And I wanted to basically welcome them with open arms so that they could have a new horizon, a new opportunity, that they could, enjoy college life and they can enjoy their basketball career.
Every week, Connecting Point explores the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England, but it doesn't stop there. You can find us online anytime for exclusive features and content. This month's digital focus is a celebration of Black History Month, so be sure to go online right now to nepm.org/connectingpoint for digital exclusives and extras that explore the people, stories, and issues that shape the Black experience in Western New England. With 16 groups throughout New England and even one in Portland, Oregon, the mission of Rock Voices is to heal its members and others through song. This adult, no-audition community choir was founded in 2012 by director Tony Lechner and has helped members discover the joy of singing their favorite rock music as a collective. Lechner and members Julie Smith and Kate Powell join me to share how this group has impacted their lives.
We took out an ad in the paper saying, who wants to sing rock and roll? And around 50 people showed up, none of whom I had ever met before, except maybe one of them I knew. Why? Is because I had spent my life in music, studying it and teaching it, and have always thought that there was something about choral music that kept everyone from being able to do it. It feels a little bit out of reach to people because it's often in other languages. You often need to read music to participate. And it's a barrier for people, which is ironic because singing is it's the oldest instrument in existence, and all humans have been able to sing since the beginning of time. And we've evolved to this careful setting aside of singing for only certain kinds of people. So my wife, Sarah, and I were thinking one night, what if there was just a choir for singing whatever people want to sing nowadays, popular music? And we just did it on a whim.
You mentioned that 50 people showed up after that first ad was put in the newspaper. Did that response surprise you? And how has the community responded throughout the years?
Yeah, it surprised me. I think it surprised them too, because I got there late. There was a line out the door, 50 people waiting to get in for me to unlock the door of the building we were renting. I think we were all surprised because none of us knew, me included, what was going to happen. I thought maybe 5 people would show up. Maybe 100. I had no idea.
So Kate and Julie, as one of those original people that responded to the ad, what made you want to go check out what Rock Voices was? And were you also surprised to see how many people showed up as well?
It was a really small ad, and it just said, do you like to sing? I think it might have said, do you like to sing in the shower? And I thought, well, yeah, I love to sing. And I had been looking for a choir I could join that wasn't I didn't want to do women's music, and I didn't want to do international music. I wanted to sing exactly what Tony said. The songs I grew up singing, the songs I sang in my car all the time. I wanted to sing rock and roll, and there just wasn't a choir doing that.
I unlike Julie, didn't know I was looking. It just found me. I've been going to concerts all my life. That's one of my absolute favorite things to do. And I've always sung to myself or to anybody who's in the car with me. I don't read music. I still don't really read music. Don't listen. Because you don't have to. And I felt like Julie did, just giddy with glee that we got to sing along with people with songs that we knew, songs that we've grown up with, songs that we've loved, in a way that nobody was going to make fun of us or say you're singing the wrong part or anything.
Nate Altamari, who helped take up the charge to expand Rock Voices throughout New England. In an article, he said that the community rivals the musicality of this group. And in a time like we are in right now, where it's difficult to be together as we once were, how do you maintain the community within the group?
It's hard because we haven't been meeting in person for 2 years now. We've continued on Zoom, which has limitations. You can't sing in real time together and hear each other. We've kept rehearsals going as best we could.
And you still are making music together because you'll be making a CD, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me a bit more about that.
We have too many songs for one CD, so now it's going to be 2 CDs. And we've been putting out virtual choir videos, which is all the rage now that the pandemic started. We've got 4 or 5 of them out already and a bunch more in the works. We found ways to make it interesting and fun for people.
Well, and I know that there is a lot of community within the group because, as I mentioned earlier before we started recording, back in 2013, Rock Voices was featured on our choral competition series, Together in Song. I worked on that show and I witnessed firsthand the camaraderie that existed within the group. So Kate and Julie and even Tony, tell me about the community that you have built and how it's helped heal yourselves and others during difficult times in your lives, or even during the good times.
I think when it began, it was really understanding for me that I had met my people. It was that experience of somebody would make a silly joke and someone else would inevitably find a song lyric that matched up perfectly with that silly joke, that type of thing. And Tony was the master of all of that. And so, we were in the room with this guy who played piano amazingly well and was so gifted and could just, in this sort of Robin Williams style, just riff off of almost anything that we threw at him. So he was immensely entertaining, but it was also for each of us, we were engaged with one another in this way.
You don't know that you've met your best friends. You don't like go into a place thinking this is where I'm going to meet, my favorite people, and maybe even somewhat you think you might be past that point in your life. It's an adult choir, right? So when you think of your best friends in your life, you generally think of, grade school, high school, college, and then that's it, and then you have your quote unquote work friends, which aren't always the same in your head, and they don't maybe give you the same amount of fun that you associate with your early childhood, right? But now there is this whole other world that opened up with associations and a commonality and love and support. And like Julie said, there's all these people that are our people.
If somebody out there is hesitant to join a singing group or thinks maybe my voice isn't good enough to join, what would you say to them to help change their mind?
If there's even an inkling that you want to sing, this is a group that will give you all the support you need to do it. You can blend in and not really hear your voice among all the other voices, just hear the blend. Or you can decide, wow, I want to go for a solo. And the solos are audition based. And so you really get to choose how much exposure you're going to have and how much you're going to push yourself. And I can't think of a better format for someone who isn't quite sure than a choir, than Rock Voices. I really can't.
When Steve Sears purchased the stationery factory in Dalton, Massachusetts, his vision was to turn this former mill building into a landing spot for local artisans, craftsmen, and entrepreneurs. And as Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan found out recently when he visited with the building's newest tenants, KSW Printing, that vision has come to fruition as KSW combines art, craft, and entrepreneurship.
In western New England, old brick mill buildings like this one are about as common a sight as the rivers that are often found running behind them. Many have even found a new lease on life by way of repurposing. But one in particular, on 63 Flansburgh Ave in Dalton, Massachusetts, seems to be up and coming, which may seem like an unusual way to describe a structure that's over 100 years old. But within the confines of this roughly 100,000 square foot erstwhile four-story factory, we find a brewery that's quickly becoming established and shedding its label of upstart. There's an artist enjoying his second act following a career in a completely unrelated field. It's where a father and son get to bond while doing some high-end woodworking, and that's only scratching the surface of the growing number of tenants moving into the stationery factory.
The second floor here already has several businesses operating on it. Some have been here for a few years, others for just a couple. And thanks to the abundance of space in this building, there are still some just getting started.
And by just getting started, we mean the paint is still drying, and there are likely still some unpacked boxes.
We moved in February 1st. So, we've been here like 13, 14 days, you know what I mean?
It's a joint venture known as KSW Printing, with the letters standing for the principal owners, Paul Keel, Kyle Sowen, and Quintavious Walls. And even though his name is last in the title, there's no confusion among the three that Walls was not only the one with the plan and experience, but also had an eye out for the ideal location.
This is the space I actually looked at a long time ago. It was already a screen printing shop, so it fit our needs. I have had like clothing lines and stuff like that, so I had a clothing store out of North Adams. So it kind of became a necessity for me to just make my own things, you know what I mean, instead of outsourcing them. So, I gained the information, learned, and, due to the pandemic, I closed down and took it as a perfect opportunity to just get into manufacturing myself and helping other brands out.
In a world where branding has likely never been more prevalent and important for getting noticed, having young, talented artists on site only helps their cause. Partners Keel and Sowen joined this startup by way of long-standing friendships. Keel and Walls having worked together side by side in the restaurant business, and Sowen having been a bass fishing buddy of Walls for years. What they bring to the table here is something Walls calls the Q factor, an attention to detail and the insight to ask the right questions, which makes for a very short learning curve.
Anything I do, I really pick it up quick. Like I've done construction, I've been a foreman for Northern Foundations, I've been the general manager at Five Guys, I've been a sous chef, I've done landscaping, I've done a lot of different work. So anything I really do, I pick up quick. So it's just like you give me a template, you show me what to do, and then from there, I'll figure it out until I get it right.
Good moral fiber was a huge thing for this. Like I said, we've been good friends a long time. I've tried to help push his business in the past. And it kind of came to a point where he needed to grow, and he made the offer, and it was kind of an opportunity, and I jumped on it.
At the time of this interview, KSW was only 2 weeks into operations here, so the long-term effects of combining friendship and business remain to be seen for quite some time. For now, the focus is strictly on the business end of things.
For this printing company, big picture is, we just want to grow as much as we can. We want to obviously get some corporate accounts, get some bigger accounts, and service them, but we also want to service our community and our smaller businesses as well, because we're a small business.
For over 30 years, the Arcadia Players have been performing chamber music throughout Western Massachusetts, and the ensemble recently welcomed a new artistic director. Multi-instrumentalist, teacher, and composer Andrew Arcechi has worked and studied music throughout Europe. I spoke with Arcechi as well as longtime members Alice Robbins and Walter Denny to learn more about the group.
Well, about 30 years ago, Meg Owen Brandon, who was at the time the college organist for Mount Holyoke College, decided that she'd like to found a group devoted to the performance of early music, that is music from before 1750, as part of a sort of a general movement in the United States and Europe at that time toward taking a look at music that hadn't traditionally been performed very much by groups in Europe and North America up to that time. So that was part of what we sort of called the early music movement.
There had been chamber ensembles around, but not very many Baroque orchestras, and especially in this area, where there is still a lot of activity in Boston, New York, Montreal, other cities. But here in our valley, going up and down the Connecticut River, we wanted to have more going on. And Meg herself wanted an opportunity to conduct this music.
And recently, the Arcadia Players have named a new artistic director. And beginning on March 1st, Andrew, you will be taking over leadership of the ensemble. As somebody who has history with this group as a past performer, what was it about it that made you want to apply for this position? And how does it feel to take on this role?
Yes, I've played viol da gamba, violone, and bass with the ensemble on and off for several years, always as a contracted player. I've always enjoyed the music making. And the last several years, I've been directing programs myself, and it's unusual. Certainly not a problem to direct from one of these instruments, but it's just less common. I'm very thankful that the Arcadia Players took the application seriously, and that I advanced, and I had a wonderful time during the process. I mean, it was a long process, especially with COVID, of course. I very much look forward to working with the ensemble.
Let's talk about the historical performances for a second, because I understand that the Arcadia Players are known for their historically informed performances. What does that mean, and what does that entail?
It means using the tools that one had at the time the music was written. So not performing at modern pitch, which is about a half a pitch higher than we believe they performed during the 18th century. And the reason we know that is because if you take a wind instrument such as a Baroque oboe, which has many fewer keys, it not only has a different timbre, but because of the way it's made and its length, it vibrates at a lower pitch. So taking those as our guidelines and learning to enjoy what the instruments have to offer, not trying to make them into another kind of sound, it just opens up a lot of things for me.
Walter, you've been involved with different musical organizations since the early 60s, and you are the longest serving member on the board of directors for the Arcadia Players. As somebody, an artist with decades of knowledge and experience in this art form, how do you preserve and promote its importance for future generations?
I think the most important thing, especially for early music and historically informed performance, is to find your niche not only within the broader movement of classical music, and of course by classical music we mean music that defies time, that's vibrant and powerful and moving no matter what. It was wonderful 400 years ago, and it's still wonderful. That's what we mean by classical music. And here in the Valley, with all the departments and all the colleges and all the independent musical organizations, of which there are quite a few that present concerts, we have to find our own place and develop our own audience within that spectrum. It's not the easiest task because, of course, in some ways it is a zero-sum game. What we have to do, and what we've been doing for 30 years, and which we hope that Andrew is going to help us advance, is to increase our concert-going public, to appeal to, as Alice mentions, now younger people are becoming interested in this through their schooling, to capitalize on the fact to get younger audiences. And we have to continue to rediscover our place, continue to rediscover our niche. And that's one of the reasons why we're so excited that Andrew is going to help us develop our approach to the future of this early music movement.
So in 2019, the Arcadia Players celebrated its 30th anniversary. Congratulations on that amazing milestone. What do you all hope for chamber music and the Arcadia Players for the next 30 years to come?
There's lots of music out there to be discovered. It's still in manuscript form. It's hidden away in monasteries and churches and private collections and libraries. I would hope that we would continue to capitalize on all these new and wonderful discoveries that are being made. We have a program in waiting of a performance of a St. Matthew Passion by the German composer Tyla in a new performing edition. There's lots and lots of stuff that is very old, but it's very new. We're going to be getting new stuff out there that's being discovered or rediscovered. I'm hoping that rediscovery process, together with an increasingly large audience of it, we hope increasingly younger people, I hope that's where the future of Arcadia Players lies.
For more from the Arcadia Players, head over to our webpage for a digital extra as longtime members Alice Robbins and Walter Denny, as well as new artistic director Andrew Arcechi, reminisce about the origins of their passion for music.
When I was 9 was when I first saw a viola da gamba. And it just caught my imagination.
Music is the most emotional, the most intense experience that I get from the arts.
That digital extra is available online right now. And that does it for this edition of Connecting Point. Remember, you can always find all of the stories that you saw in this episode, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and so much more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. And please be sure to join us again every week right here for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm Saidalis Bauer. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
All who set foot in Sanditon fall in love on the spot. Was that your experience, Miss Hayward?
I am besieged by fortune hunters. I have a plan for us both to find husbands here in Sanditon. Love is not as simple as you seem to think. Why should it not be?
The new season of Sanditon premieres March 20th on NEPM.
We will do literature for 30.
61 seasons of local high school wit. Deerfield.
Sisyphus.
Yes, Sisyphus. As schools match wits, pits area high schools against each other in a fun, competitive quiz show. Holyoke.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Watch your favorite weekly quiz show Saturday night at 7 or stream it at nepm.org.
This week, Holyoke takes on Deerfield Academy on As Schools Match Wits.
New England Public Media, Reading Success by 4th Grade, the Springfield City Library, and Holyoke Early Learning Initiative and many partners offer you 413 Families texting program that provides weekly suggestions for fun and educational community-based activities for young children and their families in the greater Springfield area. Opt in by texting 413 Families to 413-7676 FAM, or for Spanish, text 413 Familias.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rolling Stones. It was a concert for the ages. All the energy. All the excitement. The Rolling Stones. A bigger bang. Live on Copacabana Beach.
The Rolling Stones in concert Wednesday at 9 on NEPM.
As an NEPM sustaining member, your ongoing contribution helps us bring local stories and exciting new programs to every screen and every speaker. It's easy to increase the amount of your monthly donation at nepm.org. Small increases add up to a well-funded and healthy public media station, one that can continue to provide local conversations, national headlines, and all the drama.
Try not to startle it.
Increase your monthly gift or become a sustainer for the first time at nepm.org.
New England Public Media is sponsored in part by our contributing viewers and by...
It's no secret that older adults do much better living in a senior community than at home alone. Why? There are 4 major reasons: companionship, healthy diets, active lifestyles, and wellness care. More information at armbrookvillage.com.
You're watching New England Public Media, WGBY Springfield.
At 9 years old, Maren Alsop had big dreams.
I'm going to be the conductor when I grow up.
What, are you kidding? Women don't do that.
I said, oh, no. Don't tell me I can't do something.
Follow the resilient journey of the first woman to lead a major American orchestra.
It feels like I'm in a dream, in a way.
And how she fought for her place at the podium to inspire a new generation on Great Performances.
Meet the Conductor March 25th or stream at